Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Alright, I'd like to begin by introducing myself. As you know, my name is Anissa Novido, a student at University of Mereka Malang. And in this video, I will analyze a debate video. If you have any question, write them in the comment section below. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, the debate video that I'll be analyzing is from Good Morning Britain with the title of Rachel Johnson say her brother's burqa comments didn't go far enough. You can also scan this barcode here to see the video. Also, my presentations is divided into 4 sections. I'll begin with the part of debate before going on to the basic elements of debate itself. And after that, I'll proceed to the concept argument. And finally, I'll go over the essential of argument. So, get yourself ready to be tempted. Let us begin with the part of debate, which is divided into 2 sections. First, introductions, and then the argument. Next, the introductions of the debate. Introduction will be covered the topic, the background, and the debaters. And in the video, we can say that the topic is ban the burqa, and the background is Boris Johnson article on the burqa received backlash, and his sister Rachel called for a full ban in the UK. And then Sahar Al-Faifi shared why she chooses to cover her face with the burqa. Also, we can see here the debaters for the oppositions. The oppositions here is Sahar Al-Faifi, Muslim Council of Britain, and the affirmative is Rachel Johnson, the journalist and the author. Now, let's jump to the argument. So, argument itself divided into 4 parts. First one is statement of fact, which consists of fact, not opinion, not your opinions. And the second one is confirmations. It is where we make our arguments. And also we have refutations, is where the other side make an opposite opinions from other team's opinion. So they kind of refuse it. And then the last one's conclusions is where the team make conclusions to convince the audience. So here for the example, the video, I can say that the statement of fact here is the Danish ban on wearing burqas and niqabs is due to the fact that it infringes human rights. For the confirmations here is women have the right to choose what they want to wear, but wearing a full face veil means submitting to a patriarchal model of modesty. And for the refutations here, Muslim women are not being forced to wear burqa. It is their way to express their faith, and the Quran does not even mention the word niqab, face veil, hijab, or headscarf. So the conclusions here is Muslim women express their faith differently. Second one, there's no statement of fact, but the confirmation said that feminist issues focus on women covering up their beauty to avoid male attentions. For the refutations, the feminist ideal states that women should be allowed to dress and behave as they choose, so they have the right to wear burqas, right? And then the conclusions is everyone has the right to express their faith and their identity the way they want, regardless their faith, background, or sexual orientation. All right, next is the statement of fact, still the same. For the statement of fact, we have hate crimes in Islamophobic abuse communities have increased by 32% with Muslim women at the sharp ends of the phobia. For end of confirmations, people have been conditioned by negative stereotypes about Muslim in the media, leading to the criticisms and lack of integrations in society. Also, here we have the confirmations without the statement of fact. It is appropriate for women to wear a full face veil to teach primary school or to be police stations because face-to-face contact is necessary for civic society. And for the refutations here, Muslim women who choose to wear it to wear burqas are willing to take it off without asking, regardless of whether it is an airport or bank identity check. Next. Now let's move on to the basic elements of debate itself. It consists of 3 sections. First is participants, and then propositions, and then the format. All right, so there are 3 different types of participants, like debaters, officer, and audience. And in this case, in the video, the debaters are Rachel Johnson for the affirmative and Sahar Al-Faifi for the negative. And the officers here are the host, 2 hosts here, and the women and the men. And the audience, the general audience, debates audience is viewer on digital platform, governments, activists, Muslim people, and the society in general. Next, let's talk about prepositions. So what's the type of prepositions for the video? They use the prepositions of policy. And I think it's a good preposition because it's focused on one idea expressed in affirmative sentence. It's controversial, of course, representing a change from the present system. Yes. Neutrally worded, yes. Unsuitable for participant. And then the format they use in the video, in the debate video, is cross-examination format with the detail here: affirmative constructive speech, cross-examination by negative, negative constructive speech, and cross-examination by affirmative. And the timeline here, you can see here is the detailed timeline. Now move on to the concept of arguments. There are 2 sections that I'll cover. The first one is the type, and the second one is the basic components. All right, what is the type of argument? There are 2 types of arguments. The first one is deductive. What is deductive arguments? It's the arguments that presented to be valid and not have false conclusions. For example, here in the video, I can find the word niqab, the face veil, and the word hijab, even the headscarf, are not mentioned in the Quran. While the inductive arguments is the argument that strengths come in degrees that are not supposed to be valid, and it is divisible. For the example here, the first one is Muslims are oppressed and can integrate and participate in society. Second, Muslim women are at the sharp end of the povia. Now, let's move on to the basic component of argument, which is concept of claim, reason, support, and warrant. So what is claim? Claim is a statement of what you believe or should be done. But the reasons is statement that should support a given claim. And then support is a form of evidence as substantiates the reason of offered. And the warrant is the assumptions that connected support to the claim. So here the claim is there's no feminist justification for wearing something that completely covers the face. And the reason here is women have the right to choose what they want to wear. But unfortunately, there's no support or warrant here. Now let's move on to the next one. Now, this is the complete one, which is have the claim, support, reasons, and warrants. For the claim, we have burqa is not a force. Why? Because it's an act of worship and devotion to God. The support here, the word niqab, the face veil, and the word hijab, even the headscarf, are not mentioned in the Quran. There are different things in there, and one of which is the garment, and the garment has different interpretation. And then we have warrant here. For the Muslim women express their faith differently. Next, the claim here we have life for people wearing veil is more difficult in the UK. The reason is there's been a rise in hate crimes against Muslims. To support abuse communities, generally speaking, statistically, there has been an increase of 32%. The one is Muslim women are the sharp ends of the phobia. All right, the last one, the claim here we have there's no feminist argument for condoning this issue, and the reason is the whole problem with this is that men aren't staying out of it because you see, men support in Afghanistan in the 70s, women are wearing short skirts and Western dress, then turned into wearing full face veil while men wore suits. And the one is it is a regressive step. All right, last but not least, we will talk about the essential of arguments, which is consists of four subtopics: thesis, audience, exigence, and ground. Let me explain this. So what is thesis? Thesis is a claim to be supported. Well, of course, we have also the audience to be convinced. And then the exigence is the urgency to offset the audience limitation of it. And the ground is reason for audience to be convinced of thesis statement. Here, the thesis is burqa is an act of worship and devotions for God to God. And the audience is non-Muslim people, government, and society. And the ground is the face veil and the word hijab are not mentioned in the Quran. There are garments, and the garment have different interpretations, and Muslim women express their faith differently after that. The exigence here is, would you think it's appropriate that women wear full face veil to teach primary school or to be in a police stations where some face-to-face contact is needed to make civic society function properly? Next, the thesis is far from being feminist issues. Women have to cover up because they might provide a distractions or provocation to men. Well, the audience here is Muslim women, Muslim men, and the society. The ground here is in Afghanistan in 1970. Women were wearing short skirts and Western dresses. So now it is a regressive step. The exigence here in the feminist ideal, women should be allowed to be free to dress and behave as they choose. But you don't want a woman to choose her right to wear this, to wear a full face veil. Next is the society has been conditioned by negative stereotypes about Muslim in the media. The audience here is non-Muslim society, social media, society, and media. On the grounds, there have been a rise in hate crimes in Islamophobic abuse communities, generally speaking. Statistically speaking, there has been an increase of 32%, and Muslim women are in sharp ends of the phobia. And there's no exception here. Next, last one. In the public realms, women should not cover their entire faces on the street for thesis, and the others is Muslim, society, and government. And the grounds here is there are family where our woman completely cover head too in black clothes on hot summer days, but the man is wearing short and flip-flops. And the question here is, what about having big, thick beard and long hair? It is completely their choice, and you can't really see their faces, and that's their rights. All right, that concludes my analysis of Good Morning Britain's debate video. We now understand the idea, the fundamental component of a dispute, and the idea behind an argument, and also we understand the fundamental of an argument. Perhaps this can be viewed as my opinion regarding to the discussion video that I look at. First one is less data provided both from affirmative or the negative side. And then the next one is too many interruptions, so it is quite challenging to analyze me. All right, finally, I'd like to thank you for watching, y'all. Please feel free to ask any questions if you have in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Bye.